There it is. That was weird. It looks like it's going now. So now it'll be really interesting to see if you guys can see and hear me. I've been playing the old technical game today. Jim, it looks like it's good on your end. Well, you guys wouldn't believe what I've just been dealing with. Let's see if we get some good audio levels. Is everything sounding like appropriate levels to you guys? Does that sound decent? I'm gonna wait. We can hear and see. Okay, great. A little rocky start thanks to our friends in YouTube land. We've got it going. I got that haircut. Look at that thing, dude. I have a top of a head. I'm not wearing a hat. I'm actually going to be putting a hat on at some point later today. I don't want to scare anybody. But yeah, the hat will be going back on. Yeah. Let's talk about practice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Speaking of practice, I need to practice this one. I haven't played this in a long time. I used to play it in my shows. I think I went here. I think that's right. Right? I need to go back and really brush that up. Talking about the practice. The playing and the technique seems to work. Turn up just a little bit. Yeah. But it's a matter of remembering the arrangement, which is always the thing. I like the voicings too. I think it goes, where's it? There it is. It's a really pretty technique. I don't really know how I came about it. I was really trying to, mess with cross picking and things to sound like Bela Fleck and all this stuff. And I happened upon that, and it was a thing where I was trying to get across the string sets, those kind of things like in Truth and Lie. Those kind of things. And I stumbled upon this down up middle. And this is actually a down version. Down middle, down middle. And then I change it. Right? It's like down middle, up, down. Down middle, up, down. It's really pretty though. It's pretty in those voicings too. like hypnotic to me. Nice. Grab this. Good to be back. Thanks to the fine folks at Vidami, I had to reach down and grab it because the Vidami lives on the floor. Not out of a point of disrespect, but because of foot switches, that's where it goes. And I invite you to put one of these in your studio simply because it helps you learn. Learning and practice are two different things. A tool like this for me, obviously you can practice by playing along with, but to me, practice is a weird word, and we're going to get into what that means. But for learning, this is a valuable instrument right here. This is a valuable piece of gear. It allows you to take any moment on YouTube. Say you wanted to just take what I was just playing and snip that out. You can loop it right here. Oh, right there. You can loop this section, and then you can control the speeds. You can slow it down. You can pause it in the middle of the loop, which is a really cool feature that, you know, some devices and some plugins, when you pause it, like resets everything. This just pauses it in the middle of the loop. It doesn't erase the loop that you got going on or anything like that. You can go backwards and forwards within the loop. You hold the middle button to get out of everything. It's super intuitive. It'll Bluetooth to your iPad, your iPhone, all that good stuff. The fine folks at Vidami, go over there and use my code, and you can save some cash in getting one of these. Yes, I am not wearing a hat today. I just came from the old salon. My hair was too long, and I needed to get a haircut before I headed out of town this week. We got playing the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night and playing in Texas. I would love to see some of you folks out in Texas playing Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma has some good musicians. A lot of good pickers came from Oklahoma. Playing in Tulsa at Barnett's Music Exchange. That's Tulsa on Friday. So Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night. Friday with Tulsa. And then Saturday at the Guitar Sanctuary. And I'm excited to be there. Brian Meter and those guys over there are fantastic. They help so much in chasing down good tone and helping you achieve the things that you might need from a mechanical standpoint. Grabbing gear. And they got a guy over there named Brian O'Million. He builds some really good pedal boards. He's built pedal boards for Mr. Timmons and Mark Lettieri and all kinds of different guys. Really great work. So if you're in the area, if you're in Tulsa on Friday, or if you're in McKinney, Dallas area on Saturday, man, come hang out. You know, let's talk, let's nerd out a little bit. Let's get our music nerd time on and talk about some guitar, talk about some tone and chops, play some tunes, all that kind of good stuff. So shout out to the folks at Sir Guitars. Get that head stuck in there. Yeah. I know Rick Beato would hate me having this tuner on here and all kinds of foolishness, but hey, I got it here so I can not look down, look over there. Yeah, so the folks at Sir, like I was saying before I got sidetracked, the folks at Sir are bringing this clinic series to you for free. So there is no cost involved, which is really interesting, really cool. You can just come on over and hang out with us at the Guitar Sanctuary on Saturday and at Barnett's on Friday. Cool week. Of course, if you're in the Nashville area tomorrow night, I'll be playing at that Opry, which is really always fun. So yeah, off to the races now. Yeah. to memorize songs. Having a hard time with that. Okay, let's just dive in here. The question of the day is, what is practice? Good to see some familiar faces in here. All you guys, Harlan, Jim, Jay, Troy, Fat Thor is in the house. Good to see everyone. And let's talk about what it means to practice. Here's the thing. I always say I never practice. Mr. Chuck is got a wrench next to his name over here, and his name is Blue. It lets you know he's a moderator as long as they're a Vidami team. And Chuck has hung out with me quite a bit. We spent a lot of time together doing music stuff, various things. And man, he is an interesting individual, Chuck. I'm going to brag on you for a minute because Chuck has just a brilliant engineering brain, right? And I couldn't be more opposite sometimes because I'm very much in a almost hippie kind of mindset. No, I don't need. He's like, what do I need to practice? I don't practice. I don't know. What do you practice to get there? I don't know. I don't practice. Right. So it's where this week's topic came from. What the hell is practice? What is it? Right. What does it mean to practice? I sit around and I play along with things. I play fiddle tunes, or, maybe I work up little arrangements for fun. You guys have joined me in, week out, and doing little chord melody arrangements kind of on the fly of different things. And so, to me, practice is a mindset of almost implementation. I use the term buffing wheel in my Patreon the other day. We do a weekly live Patreon masterclass, and then we're talking about technique and practicing at tempo, not practicing slow, like practicing at the tempo you're trying to play at. So the idea of practice to me is interesting because practice and learning are two different things. For instance, there's a lick that I taught over on the Patreon machine, and it's courtesy of Brian Sutton. Great bluegrass guitar player. Really, really fantastic. One of my favorites. Just fantastic bluegrass guitar player. And he had a really cool lick where he was like, it's kind of a fast thing. It's kind of halftime lick that led into it. And it had this, it had this like weird pull-off thing. And that was the technique. Did you hear it in the moment? Let me try to do something like that again. And get that open string. You can do double stops. It's really hard for me to do it slow and outside the context of a tune, which is going to lead us to our next example. That's the move right there, though. It's like a triplet. So it's really hard to do it slow and out of context because typically that kind of thing would happen, in a fast bluegrass kind of song, fiddle tune kind of song. So I'm teaching this on the masterclass the other day. And you can see me struggle with trying to play it out of context. Like right now, I'm trying to describe to you how I practice. The reality is I don't sit and play that lick over and over again without music. I don't sit here and turn on the metronome. I don't play it like that. Like I sit and I get to a fiddle tune that I'm trying to play. Maybe it's Wheelhouse, Now we see how, aha, the light bulb goes off. The lick sits into the tune. Drop it in there. Even in a lighthearted jog through Wheelhouse, now I have a bed, a context to work with. I have a canvas, okay? And I'm trying to use the right words because I want to convey this as eloquently as possible, and there's just really no way to do that. But when I'm sitting and playing, I will sit and play the guitar for hours. And it will be a mess sometimes, or it might be really great. I don't know. A lot of times, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see very, not pro level looking shot like this, just cell phone camera. That's because I record myself just noodling, practicing. So practice and noodling and learning and making music, that to me is what practice is. When you're learning a lick, like this Brian Sutton lick, that's meaning that, okay, I need to understand that it goes from a minor third bend back to the root, and it goes 5, 4, 1, 5, 4, minor third, major third, and then either an open string, or it can go down to the root here. Now I've learned that. I've taught that to you. But to practice that, I don't sit and do that over and over like in a Hail Mary kind of format. I actually try to play a tune and drop that into the tune. Practicing musicality, okay? This is where I developed right hand technique. So if I was going to play something like, I don't know. End it with the lick that we're talking about. But when I sit and I'm working on this kind of thing, I'm trying to work on dynamic and note quality, dynamic control. Let's just take the one string. We're playing a tune like Blackberry Blossom's got a lot of eighth notes, right? So everything is digga 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 digga, right? I want to imply groove, even if it's just with this one note. And if I squeeze too hard on the pick, it's choppy, okay? If I'm too light, it's not controlled. But I want to imply this groove to you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in my head, I was playing the tune, putting dynamics and punches and flipping the beat upside down and doing all these things, even though I was just playing constant eighth notes. So if you look at that on a piece of sheet music or tablature or whatever, it's just saying down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That really doesn't convey a lot. It's just telling you the direction the pick needs to move to hit the strings. To me, it's about trying to internalize a groove and a pocket. And some kind of band is playing in the back of your head. Some kind of band is playing there. And in the back of my head, I hear that mandolin going on. I hear maybe there's my rhythm guitar player, right? Bass player. So that rhythm's already kind of in my head, this thing. Everything I'm working on is all about the music. It's all about listening. There is a point in your playing where you feel like you brick wall. Usually that's because your hands and are where they need to be to get some music out. And when you start brick walling, it's because you're not practicing on music. You may be practicing too much on a certain technique. Trying to drop something in, making the technique almost like a gag or a party trick, right? Not thinking about a technique like, say, that Brian Sutton lick as something to be used musical. Rewind the tape here. Use your Vidami and go backwards. Like playing it out of context, I couldn't really figure out how to even tell you guys what that lick was. The moment I started putting that into songs, it works its way out. Having musicality at the core of every time I pick up the guitar is what I do when I'm playing. I try to always keep the word playing at the forefront. If I'm working on stuff that I'm not good at, there was a little chord voicing that I caught the other day, and it just had this kind of movement. And I was like, ooh, that's nice. And it was just kind of used as like a D7. You know? Kind of a nice voicing of it, though. You get them all right there. And I haven't used that voicing a lot. So I was like, let's just try to write some music that uses that voicing. And that can just be, when I say write some music, it doesn't even mean write some huge, gargantuan Chopin-esque etude. It just means, hey, write some chords that I can assimilate how this works in my ear, right? So that's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about what it means to practice. Now, of course, there is this other side of practice, which means memorizing my tunes, right? Like I've got to remember how I play things like Forgotten Secrets. I've got to remember how that goes. But more importantly, when I play it, and when I'm sitting here playing it, even just right now, I'm trying to think about how I can get it to roll, how I can get it to feel good. I don't want it to be played like this. That doesn't sound pleasant to me. That doesn't sound nice. I want it to sound like... sorry, I don't want it to sound like that. Clean channel. It's not my distorted lead tone. Not the mega shred thing. So just playing random noodles through the key of B minor or D major, trying to think about how I can get notes to push and pull, trying to think about quality of note and timing, volume, right? Not playing everything at the same volume. That sounds really boring, right? Versus focusing on maybe... Even to wrap it up, thinking about some chords that might make it nice that aren't in Forgotten Secrets. How's that? So you can see I'm just playing, just having fun, just exploring the guitar. Now, there are some things that I want to point out, one of which is I'm not learning right now. I'm playing. When I'm learning, I'm like, ooh, okay, I don't know what this note is. I need to learn what this note is. That's a D. I need to learn where all the D's are. This is learning mode. This is trying to assimilate knowledge and recall it. So when I know where D is, I can be like, okay, play 1, 7, 2. Like everywhere that there is, look for the 5th that sits below the D. 5 sits above it, right? Look for the 4. So now I've got the sus sound, right? Right? Everywhere I can find that suspension, that G. So this is learning mode. Learning is like, okay, where is everything? What's the button command, right? So when you're doing the big combos in Mortal Kombat or Tekken or something, you always had to memorize the button combo. That's like memorizing a tune. Like if I have to play from memory Billy in the Low Ground, you know? That is learning how the tune goes. But when it comes time to practicing and playing it, I'm not going to keep practicing it in the same robotic format that I learned it in. Like when I have to learn a new lick, I go, okay, like whatever the lick might be. That's one of the licks in the new Gary LeVox song. Right. Something like that. I have to revisit the thing to verify, but I think it's something like that. I think that's what it is. One more time. Right? So I had to learn it just now from recalling it from memory. And now when I'm practicing it, I'm going to think about the groove. Now I'm playing it. That is a real world example just then of me trying to call back from memory. What is that lick? Okay, well, that's what that lick is. Now I'm going to put it in. Now I'm going to practice it over the music. So to me, drawing that distinction from practice and learning is everything. I think that's hugely beneficial. We got Tom over here saying I love his version of Beaumont Rag. I'm assuming you're talking about Mr. Sutton, right? Where he's doing... Great tune. Great tune. Yeah. Jim, the name of the Gary LeVox single that's coming out is Get Down Like That. We'll be playing it tomorrow night. There's this little break in it where there's a pop, like a pop pause thing. And it all does this lick together, right? Randy, I owe you a phone call. I know that we've been playing a little phone tag. I see you dropping in here. Thank you, Daryl. You know, thank you. Kind of a cool delay setting, right? Sounds nice. Checking out some chat over here. Let's just see what we got. Yeah, man, a lot of things rolling around. Hate that I missed last week as well. Harlan says, how do you memorize songs? Really just listening. Just trying to listen to them as much as possible. Going back and listening, especially when I have to play stuff that I haven't played in a while. You know, that's a big one. And again, it's no, Lamar is saying, did I switch away from blue chip? No, here it is. I have a couple whatever's laying here, but the blue chip is not ever too far away. Memorizing songs comes from listening. That's the thing for me. Let's see here. A lot of compliments for Guitar Sanctuary and the Neural DSP. People are digging that stuff. It's really, really good, right? Ed Day is saying, do you ever put delay and reverb before the preamp? I don't have an effects loop. It's right now. I'm literally using that right now. My delay is before my amp. So you can hear. Trying to get like a really fat bridge pickup thing going on. That's really what I'm after. Yeah, so that is everything in front of the amp. I think that sounds really good. Tom's saying that's where I have, oh crap, I just lost it in the chat. My apologies. Tom's saying that's where I have my most frustrating problems is with my right hand technique. So, okay, let's just take that. Like, what is the problem in the right hand? Is it a fact where you're practicing stuff slow and the technique shifts? This is something I talk about a lot. Let's take that Beaumont rag thing. When I play that slow, watch the right hand in this camera right here, right? When I play that slow, there's a bigger swing in the right hand. When I play it fast, you see how tight I have to get it? So when I'm playing fast, I'm playing slow, even though I'm using alternate picking for both, the technique looks drastically different. It's a completely different kind of technique that's happening. Alternate picking, yes. Starting with a downstroke, yes. Following with an upstroke, yes. But it feels different. And it's really important that you note that when you're practicing, you need to practice fast. You got to practice it at the speed you're going to play it at or close to it. Because if you don't, you're never going to feel what that technique feels like. You can't just keep creeping yourself up in small doses. That's a big tip for me. Kevin's saying, what's the best practice to have over two-hand synchronization. Pick a key and just noodle through it. D minor, right? I'm going to try to just noodle through it, you know. So as I'm just playing, meandering my way through these scales and chord shapes, I'm trying to listen to how I'm playing and listen at the delivery of the note. That's kind of when I'm approaching this right hand thing. I'm never playing the same thing up and down and up and down and up and down and trying to get some one thing. I'm never going. I'm never doing that. That's not that to me is kind of counterproductive to my end goal, which is to play something that sounds as musical as possible. So to play something that sounds musical and to have a technique available at all times, like my alternate picking, I want it to be available at all times. I don't want it to only be available if I'm playing this lick. So I never care. Here's another thing. I never care what my right hand looks like. I'm caring about what it feels like. whole time through that, I was trying to think about chords, how I wanted to get from here to here. That's, maybe that one too. Bad note. That's why I'm always looking for a really touch-sensitive kind of tone. I want to kind of have every note as a different dynamic. That's how I'm really trying to navigate my time on the instrument, my practice time. To me, that's the difference between learning, right? The learning time and the practice time. This is Clint Tucker chiming in. Andy, what you were doing is absolutely right on. This works for some. I have to go about it in a different way, which is okay. I have to start slow to learn it first. Okay, you just dialed in, Clint, on what I said. Learning time is not practice time. I'm saying that one more time so you guys get what I'm saying. Learning time is not practice time. When you are learning, you are stopping and slowing. You're using, like here's a great time to talk about this. When you're learning something, you're using something like this to help you learn it, to absorb the knowledge. Where are the notes? Something like this can do that. You can pause it. You can loop a section. You can slow things down, and you can learn what the notes are. That is not practice time. I think, you can get into semantics and grammatic arguing really easy. But to me, Vidami is a tool for learning. It's not a tool for practicing. Practicing is not even a word I like. I like either playing music and working towards playing more musical, or I'm learning. The idea of practice in like a Hail Mary kind of thing where you do the same thing over and over again, that just doesn't translate to me. That doesn't help me take a technique or a chord or a lick or some moment and apply it freely across the canvas of music. If I learn something like the arpeggios from too many notes, right? Like if I learn this 4-note per string, and I've learned that, and I've learned that technique in my right hand, I want that to be available everywhere. E flat major 7, I want to be able to do that. And I want to twist it. I want to maybe have hybrid picking to add a different sound and change the pattern. Like that's a different one, right? That's a constant ascending pattern. I want to be able to throw this out into the universe over a G minor 9 to a B flat, sus, F, C, G minor, E flat, B flat, F, D7, G minor. So what good is it to just have one thing that you can only do once? And then you can only use it in that one scenario? That seems not very valuable. And in a world where time is limited and we don't have an infinite amount of time on this planet, I think it's really important to have, when you acquire something, you can use it in all kinds of different contexts. That's, to me, like jumping genres, jumping around different genres. People are like, hey man, how can you play bluegrass gig and then go do metal and then do instrumental and then do pop country, and like jumping around the genres like that? It's because when I'm acquiring something, when I'm assimilating something into my playing, I want it to be across the landscape. Like I've just got a new color in my crayon box. Not something that I can only do in that one paint by numbers thing. Right? Does that make sense to you guys? I feel like, am I helping you out a little bit? Yeah. This stuff really, it's hard to talk about, unfortunately, and it can get kind of heady and it can get kind of philosophical, but it's hard to talk about, but it's exciting. But to me, it's the truth in how you can keep getting burnt out, but also how your playing really improves, how you become a better guitar player, better songwriter, better musician. And because at the end of the equation, it's about the musicianship and the songwriting. It's not about, can you play the Jason Becker arpeggios? That's like sport. That's like treating guitar like sport, not like music, like art. And for me, I want to practice musicality. I don't want to practice a sport, a physical gag. Jason was playing that stuff like, Serena or whatever. Those things were coming from a musicality standpoint, but to memorize those, to regurgitate them statically and without purpose, seems very not cool to me. If you were going to play Serena like live with a band, yeah, that's very cool. I think that's incredible. Keep that music alive. Definitely work your butt off on it. But to tell yourself you have to learn how to sweep those arpeggios to be valid as a guitar player, I think that's complete BS. Like, no. You don't have to be able to play giant steps on the guitar to be a valid guitar player. Jason Isbell, I don't know this for a fact, but I bet that Jason Isbell cannot solo fluidly over giant steps. And I'm pretty sure Jason would be one of the first people to tell you, hey, I'm not the guy to get to blow over giant steps. But I think Jason's one of the greatest songwriters of our generation. Technical efficiency isn't equated into the quality of one's art. So why would you spend your life and your time on your instrument that's supposed to be a release from the real world and an escape and a vehicle to let your mind run free, punishing yourself with doing exercises? Like, that's another great word. What exercise do I do? Like, I don't know. I don't do exercises. I don't know what that would look like. I've never sat down to just play exercises. I find a technique that I might want to use. Let's go back to the Steve Morse thing. I find a technique that I might want to use. That cross-picking thing's beautiful. It's really reminiscent of Bela Fleck's banjo roll. That's why I love Steve Morse. I find that's a beautiful sound. So to me, it's like to learn too many notes is cool from a perspective of if you're going to play the song live. Yes, we've played it live. It stays occasionally in our set list. So yeah, I need to practice that from time to time. But the point is, I'm going to do it live, as a musical thing. The bigger thing is to be like, this technique that drew me in, how can I put that in other places? How can I put that into a bluegrass song or a jazz scenario? That'd be like a cool way to put it into a minor 2-5-1. Or if you were going to do it over maybe Spain, right? Right, yeah. It's about stealing that moment, that technique thing, and being able to put it in other places. And to do that, you have to practice your creativity and your your exploration, right? Like, I think that's a word that doesn't get used enough when people are thinking about practice time. It's about exploration. It's not about looking up and like, I love the fact that we live in an era where everything's available. And if you want exercises and that's what your mind craves, cool. There's a million places to get that. I guess when I'm talking about what is practice, this is a very selfish episode of today's hang, because I get hit with the comments like, what exercises did you do to be able to do what you can do? What exercises improve your picking? What exercises did you do for hybrid playing? What exercises? Like, I never did any of those. So to have this conversation with you guys today is incredibly important for me. It sounds a bit existential maybe, but it's true. Like, I'm trying to convey through words a mentality and a mental perspective, because the person asking the question about what exercises did you do, they want an answer called, here is the thing that you think. You want to know the exercises that I did to become an alternate picker, like what I can do. Here, do these. Now you can do it too. Well, that's fine and good if I learned that way, but I sure as hell didn't. So if I taught you that, I'd be full of it. Right? So I have to kind of come at this conversation very carefully. I didn't do any of that stuff. If there was such thing as like, hey, what 10 exercises that you learned, I would say Red Haired Boy, not an exercise, it's a song. Salt Creek, not an exercise. Big Mon, not an exercise. Jerusalem Ridge, not an exercise. Whiskey Before Breakfast, yet again. You see where I'm going with this? Beaumont Rag, Patty on the Turnpike, Red Apple Rag, these Fisher's Hornpipe. Like, I can just name songs that you would play with a band, especially at a fiddle contest or a bluegrass convention. Like, the effort for me was always aimed at a musical goal. Like, how can I play 8th of January cleaner on the mandolin? That's a goal that I had. As a byproduct of chasing this goal of playing 8th of January as clean as possible, as a byproduct of that, I got really good at inside and outside picking. My alternate picking got really, really good. And so when I went to listen to Paul Gilbert for the first time, it wasn't that far out of reach. Like, truthfully, like, I was like, oh, I get this. This is a lot like playing Big Mon along with Adam Steffi, right? Because I was not focused on this happened as a byproduct of working on music. I think that's the most important thing we can have in our lives as guitar players, because it leads us out of the barriers, right? And it leads us out of needing someone to feed us something. Here, take 5 of these, call me in the morning. You'll be able to do this thing. Like, that's not how that works. If you want to learn how to cross pick, you need to play songs that require cross picking. You don't sit and just do this for 10 hours a day. So what if you could get it fast? You don't know how to get in and out of it. Cross picking exists within a tune like Beaumont Rag. You need to know how to get into that. And out of it. That to me is that's the answer for the question that someone they don't want that answer. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, they're looking for like a pre-written curriculum that helps solve it. Right? Right? Does that all coming at you like where it makes sense? I know this is a heady topic. And it's real tough to kind of get into when you don't have a feedback of a group scenario or a clinic scenario. Again, what we're looking for is not learning. Learning can happen at any moment when you're trying to assimilate the knowledge and learn what the fretboard is and learn, how something feels, right? Like that's all in the learning stage. But when it comes to the practice stage, I don't have regiments. I just play the guitar. I just sit down, chase music. That's the answer. Chase the music. That's where the good stuff is. That's the head of Gold Rush. Right there's a great tune if you're trying to work on picking. Check out what we got. Particularly practice with vocals is a true physical exploration. Always pushing a little bit further. Same goes for fretboard practice journeys. That's really good. I like that. Always working with a vocal is really beneficial for me. Roy Shkosky is asking if the intervals are 1-5-3, 1-5 flat 3. That's the answer that you need to find out. If you're playing a major chord, it's 1-3-5, right? Or we could have one, what else can we have? We have one like that. You could have, playing over a minor chord, it'd be 1 flat 3. And to me, it depends on what's coming next. I would use this shape if I had a major 7. Yeah. Yeah, man. Greg's saying that's why I started learning songs never played before, right? And it's not a matter of like trying to learn the whole song. You just find your little nugget. Find your little nugget of something that sounds cool, that twists your ear, and then try to figure out how you can put that in different places. Dab bounce. Hi, Andy. How do you work on your chords? How do you arrange them? Triad, inversions. Thanks for all the tips. Man, appreciate you for hanging out with us, Bounce. For me, it's about the melody line. What's the melody doing? And then I can build things around that, right? Like, what's the melody doing? Right? Simple melodies. Right? For me, it's about that thing. Find any melody that you like really doesn't matter where it comes from. And then you can start building the chords around that. You got to have the bottom of the thing very obvious what notes those would be, right? So let's think here. What's a good one? Here's the melody. Han and Leia's theme from Star Wars, right? Easy to hear that goes on the bottom, right? B flat. Trying to think of what another one might be that's take like a so there's our melody, right? We all know that one. Let's take the bass line. Dropping that down a root. So to me, it's just find the melody, go with it from there, and then build everything around that melody, right? That's what it is for me. Okay, let's check it out. Check out a couple more questions here before we bail out. Sounded like cross-picked Silent Lucidity there for a minute. I don't know how Silent Lucidity goes, but yeah. Here we go. Rolling out. You sure you are setting up a mood today? I'm setting up a mood. All right. Obligatory Allen Iverson. We talking about practice? I love that. Yeah, Harlan's got a great quote here. He says, the birth of grunge came from the boredom of sport guitar. Yeah, that's exactly right. Fall in love, man. That's right. Yeah. This is, you guys are nailing it, man. DRSTS000, open chord music. If you're looking for the Woodshed comp, open chord music in Knoxville, Tennessee has some. And also, I think Barnett's Music Exchange will have some in Tulsa this week, and they will also have some at Guitar Sanctuary. So, yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I would think about, right? It's to me, and like, what is practice? Let's close it out with this. What is practice? Practice is the intent. Let's close it out with this. Practice is the intent. You're doing something with the intent, right? You go out on a football field and you have your practices and your scrimmages. What's the intent? The intent is to be ready for the game. Now, are they going to run drills and only run drills the entire time and just run sprints back and forth? No. That's just to stay in shape. That's not going to get you anywhere in the football game. Intent is what gets you somewhere. That's the way it should look. That's the way it should feel when you sit down behind the guitar. Put your hands on the strings. You get the sound that it's inspiring. Get you some gear that's inspiring to you. Man, I can sit and get it done with a microcube. I can find a sound on a microcube that will get me inspired. And then from then, it's just the intent. Like, what am I trying to do? Am I just trying to play licks? Am I trying to write music, right? Trying to get tunes to come out. Maybe it doesn't have to be so peaceful, you know. Here it says, remember why we start music, because of a band or a song. Practice years to find out how to play them. No, it makes sense. You gave me advice about a week ago to super glue the Telly novel, my Andy Wood signature, and now it's missing. I mean, dude, there you go. Yeah. I did see a thing this week that's interesting that I actually wanted to talk to John about. There's I'm bad to knock these little black knobs off of the end of the pickup selector. I'm really bad to do that. There's a new pickup selector that's got a hole that goes through it, and it drills through so you can't knock it off. It's like an Allen key. Something about doing that right there, right? Okay, so if you get into the spot where you're trying to really learn something, maybe there's plenty of stuff in this episode, different techniques being used. You can use a code. You can use a code right here to get the Vidami. Now, this is something I know some of you guys already have, but somebody's going, it sounds like chaos is outside. So the Vidami here, there's a code that will give you some discount love. You can get your Vidami and save some dough. This right here, you can grab any YouTube video, any sound slice and True Fire. I mean, the platforms, man, you really got to go to vidami.com to see all the platforms that this thing works with. You join up on my Patreon for those that want to keep the channel alive and kicking. That's how you do it. You can slow those videos down. There's over 300 some odd videos on that page on Patreon, 300 exclusive videos. Vidami can take all that stuff and slow it down. It's as simple as being like, all right, I like this lick. I'm going to just snag that. Okay, in and out. Cool. Now, at that point, you can slow it down using the speed control. You can loop it, and you can pause the loop within the window. It's really fan-freaking-tastic. It's one of the most valuable items in my arsenal. It stays right here close to me when I'm working on things, trying to assimilate new ideas and doing the things I've been talking about all day long. When I'm learning, and then I want to put it into practice mode, then for me it's just kicking that speed up and playing along with it. I mean, super valuable item right here. This is one of the things I do with my Vidami. Let me just tell you what I do. Once I've got something under my fingers to where I know what it is, but I'm still trying to implement it and it's practice time, I just hit this down to like, boom. And it goes to like 70%, 75%, something like that. And I just let the whole song play at that slower tempo. And it's just slow enough to where I can have my wits about me if I'm trying to solo over it. But it's still fast enough to where I feel like my technique that I'm trying to use at full tempo is there. I know it's just one button, but man, it's so powerful for me. Such a powerful tool. And if you look over right now, just take a look. You'll see Vidami just posted something in the chat. There's a 10% code on this bad boy. So save yourself some beer money, right? Use that code. Snag one of these. Get you a tasty adult beverage. I'm not endorsing drinking, but if you do, get you a tasty beverage. And sit down with this. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, you're going to be like, how did I live without this thing? How did I freaking play guitar without this? The only time it sits on the top of my desk is when I'm doing these live streams. It's the only time. The rest of the time, it's like down at my feet. There's a mandolin case at my feet so I can put the guitar in the proper position, put my foot on it. And then I have my pedal board over here. And then the Vidami sits right in front. That's how I like to work. Keeps my efficiency nice. Now, there's some other things for some of you more advanced guys. I know we got some guys in here in the chat that are advanced. You can do you can use Vidami and map it to control your DAW. So you can actually control the recording function in Logic and things like that. It's really cool. I'm telling you, it's really, really cool. To me, it's a lot like having a Stream Deck. It's like just another controller that just gets your mind out of buttons and keyboards and mouses and gets you back into the zone, staying in the zone. It's the best. Troy, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. Yeah, it's a fantastic piece of kit, man, for sure. Anything else that I missed? I hope I didn't. Jim Dover says, guitars and coffee. I'd pick up the Woodshed comp. That's right. Time for a little housekeeping here. Hey, Lucas, I see you, bro. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's completely on the fly, though, like that open arms. That's a great example right there of how, to use the Vidami just to where you can be like, look at the melody and then build the stuff around it, right? So for housekeeping, there's a couple of things I want to just reiterate. I'm going to be in Tulsa on Friday. I'm going to be in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night. I'm going to be in Tulsa on Friday. I'm going to be at the Guitar Sanctuary in Dallas on Saturday. Cannot wait to do those things. It's going to be a good time. We've got some big news for Woodshed. Okay? Buckle up. Buckle up. Chuck, I'm about to do it. I'm looking for Chuck's name in the chat. I'm going to say it. All right, so Woodshed, this is gonna be a Vidami exclusive. Can we do that, guys? Vidami, can I have a Vidami exclusive right here? This isn't our official release video or our official announcement, but I'm gonna announce something. Chuck, give me a thumbs up if I can do it. You don't even know what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm announcing it. I'm going for it. It's going to the internet where it's about to be real. We've got Tosin Abasi and Guthrie Trapp joining us for this year's Woodshed Guitar Experience. So I want to see some clapping hands and smiley faces in the chat. So adding to our roster, Mark Lettieri, Brent Mason, Greg Koch, Tom Quell, all the cats that you know and love that are coming now put 2 more monster names on the list. Tosin Abasi is coming in with the 8 string to share that kind of thing that he does so well. He's coming in. He's going to be at Woodshed Guitar Experience. Guthrie freaking Trapp. Guthrie Trapp is going to be at Woodshed Guitar Experience. One of the finest players in Nashville, Tennessee. Guthrie Trapp plays with Hall & Oates. He's an absolute monster. You've probably seen him playing lately with Tom Bukovac, Uncle Larry. You know, they've been doing some good jamming. We got Tom's coming next year. Uncle Larry will be here next year. But yeah, man. So if you're excited about Woodshed, yeah, how good was he? Guy Peck over here saying, I saw Guthrie Trapp last night. Yeah, how good was that dude? Incredible, right? Incredible. So if you want to make the trip in, we would love to have you. We would love to have you. We got a few slots left. Top tier players for sure. We got a few slots left. This is the end of August, so you're a little over a month away. If you go to woodshedguitarexperience.com, what this is 3 nights, 4 days, full weekend event. You get lessons, master classes, VIP experience. Your lodging is included, so you can stay on the property in one of our cabins. You can also stay at a hotel that's less than a mile away if you want to do that. I think the cabins are awesome. It's on a beautiful lakefront property in about an hour outside of Nashville. And we have a live house band, amazing live house band, world class. Like the guy that's touring playing bass for Bela Fleck and Jerry Douglas right now, he's our bass player. Like Jim Riley, who is band leader for Rascal Flatts and has been on the cover of Modern Drummer 6 times, he's a drummer. So I'm just telling you, freak show level house band. Okay. Brent Mason, master of the telly, you know, you got Mark Lettieri, Grammy nominated Mark Lettieri, right? It's an amazing event. We limit it to 100 people. We've got a few slots left. Everything's included. Everything. So you get the lessons, the clinics, the jams, concert every night. We've got an amazing manufacturer's room. PRS is going to be there. Sir Guitar is going to be there. Universal Audio sent us some stuff. We've got XTS. So if you sign up, there's a company out of Nashville called XTS, Exact Tone Solutions, and they build the rigs for Brad Paisley and Keith Urban, and they build these crazy elaborate rigs. They just did my rig. They have another one of mine that's in construction right now. They're amazing. They're the best. Their rigs cost thousands of dollars to get your pedal board done by XTS. Like, there's no favoritism. They don't give away stuff. Every artist has to pay, right? That's just how it stays. But what we're going to do is they're going to come in, XTS is going to come in, and one lucky camp member will have their board assembled for free by XTS, and they'll be doing an expo on how to improve your tone and your live setup and power supplies and all that kind of good stuff. You got to be signed up for the Woodshed Guitar Experience by August 5th, 10th. We haven't decided what that date is, but they need to have enough time that we can have the lottery to see who's going to get their rig built by XTS free of charge. You just got to be there. So amazing. Vidami's going to be there hanging out with us. Rev amplifiers. I mean, there's so many freaking people coming to this thing. I can't even keep my mind straight on who else is going to be there. So I know I'm forgetting names and stuff, but what an experience. It is truly once in a lifetime. And you can't do a VIP weekend anywhere for this. I look at what it costs to do VIP at Bonnaroo and Stagecoach and these festivals. It costs thousands, man. What we're giving you is an opportunity to be one-on-one with the greatest guitar players that are in the game, right? Like, you think about the most recorded Nashville session guitar player. You think about the pioneer of 8-string modern metal stuff. Like, they're all going to be there. It's an amazing event. So I'm excited to share that today. We'll be doing an official announcement later on. But yeah, man, it's really an amazing thing, and I hope to see you guys there. Like I said, a couple slots left. WoodshedGuitarExperience.com. Now, Chuck might know the answer to this, but if I recall, I think we were setting up some payment plan type of stuff. to where it's like you can pay half and then half. I think there's some of that stuff that's in place. I'm not the businessman. Obviously, we've got a fantastic team that takes care of that. We've got a question here that says, will it be videotaped? And yes, we do have video footage, but it's exclusive to the campers. That's part of that package that you get access to seeing things that nobody else gets to see, just because of we want to keep it really VIP for those that get to attend. So Woodshed Guitar Experience. One small other thing, if you like what I do and you want to keep it going and you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. I've got hundreds of videos there, just $5 a month. We'll get you access to over 300 something exclusive videos. And then of course we have weekly live masterclasses. I'm uploading updates from my album over there. A lot of exclusive things that don't get anywhere else on the internet. They only belong on Patreon. So, I'd love to have you in that community too. So with that said, everyone, I hope to see some of you guys at the Opry tomorrow night, and then see some of you cats maybe out at Tulsa or Guitar Sanctuary. I will be probably wearing a hat again very soon, so just soak it in while you can. That's the top of my head. That's what it looks like. Soak it up while it's there. I'm going to be hat on this thing. Usually I get about 1 or 2 days a month with no hat. I just love hats, man. What can you say? With that said, I hope everyone had a great time hanging out with us. We'll be doing it again next week. And I'm excited, man. It's going to be a busy month, and we've got some really cool stuff coming around the corner, as well as a new album and all that kind of stuff, and some new products coming from Sir real soon. So yeah, with that said, the links are right down there below you. You see Chuck's put it there. You got the Woodshed Guitar Experience. You got Patreon, all that kind of stuff. If you want to have a topic included in a Vidami live stream, all you have to do, jump over to Vidami's website when you're looking at the product. You're trying to decide if you want the blue or not. Shoot those guys a message. They'll be happy to pass it along to me. If there's a certain topic you want to discuss in one of these weekly live things, man, super easy. Just message Vidami. Go join their email list. They run sales and different updates, firmware updates, all that kind of stuff. So jump over to their website. Thanks for Vidami for sure for having us every week on these types of these hangs. They're super fun. Always a great hang. So yeah, Tom, I see you, bro. Harlan, thanks for hanging out. Fat Thor, all the regular characters. Jay, thanks to Vidami as always for making this happen. And with that said, I'm gonna sign out and get to work on my record. Try to make some new music for you guys. So we'll talk to you real soon.